We wound up getting a $165 ticket for something we never did.
There's madness out there, and that they can't be trusted, unfortunately, to issue tickets legitimately.
So it was punished for doing the right thing.
Parking inspectors and a fair go rarely go hand in hand. And why would they?
Yeah, $50 million in Brisbane City Council area alone, just in parking meters and fines. That is, you extrapolate that out across Australia, that's billions of dollars coming into councils every year just from parking meters and from fines. It's a disgrace.
Plenty of punters agree, but the numbers of fed-up motorists taking the fight to councils is increasing, and more they're winning. Shane Bowering is from Red Tape Busters.
Is this an addiction? Are councils addicted to this money?
Oh, absolutely, because it's their revenue stream. They just want the dollars.
In Brisbane alone, 1/3 of 33,000 parking tickets drivers appealed were upheld, the council withdrawing more than 11,000 dubious tickets. A staggering 1,500 of those fines were found to be completely wrong.
So I guess we all need to appreciate that the parking inspectors sometimes get it wrong. They're only human, so that's why we have this complaints process to ensure that any wrongs are righted.
With so many people successfully overturning their tickets, the real question is now, how many people out there really are genuine victims of dodgy ticket inspectors, but they can't be bothered to fight the ticket, so they simply pay it and just move on with their lives?
Well, parking inspectors obviously aren't using common sense, because if 33% are being, of complaints are being upheld and withdrawn, fines withdrawn, that's a huge amount.
Sydney Council issued 288,000 tickets, withdrawing almost 7,000. Melbourne drivers saw almost 8,000 tickets thrown out from 400,000 issued. Adelaide's parking inspectors were a little more measured, but still way off the mark. Out of 240,000 tickets issued, almost 10,000 were withdrawn. That's almost $1 million worth of tickets. Perth drivers overturned 9,000 tickets out of 108,000 issued last year.
It's an income stream to councils. They're looking for revenue. This is a major revenue stream. But it's also about the fact that they're hoping that people will just go away. They're hoping that the ratepayer and the taxpayer will give up. Members of the public will just say, it's too hard, we won't fight them, we'll just pay up.
Lawyer Alex Jones doesn't cop tickets lying down if he knows he's right.
The first and the easiest way is to write a letter explaining the details of why you shouldn't have been given the ticket, along with any evidence you may have to support your claim that it was incorrectly issued.
He's fought a parking ticket and won, and offers this advice for the rest of us.
So I was actually stuck in court, so the time expired in my parking, but of course I couldn't leave the court and leave the magistrate, and the court's waiting for me, so I just explained that to the council in writing, and they were good enough to appreciate the circumstances and withdraw the ticket.
Laurel Anthony didn't have the same success. Dinner at a restaurant saw her husband end up with a $165 fine for parking in a bus zone.
My husband let me off in the street because I have a disability. I injured my back when I worked as a nurse, and I lost sensation in the lower part of my legs.
They spotted parking inspectors and made a point of avoiding the bus zone, instead stopping in the middle of the empty street. Laurel appealed on compassionate grounds. Brisbane City Council was having none of it.
They didn't take into consideration the fact that I did note on there that I do have a disability. And the reason my husband dropped me off there was for my own safety.
Compassion is rare at the Maribyrnong Council in Victoria. Footscray Hospital is a lucrative cash cow for council coffers.
My mum was in hospital and she was on about the third, fourth floor. And so I parked out in Eleanor Street at the Footscray Hospital.
Yvonne Taslawski was picking up her 86-year-old mum from hospital. She paid to park on the street, but moved into short-term pickup to make the journey home.
It must have been a whole 5 minutes. And there was a note sitting there for me I think it was about $170.
And to make matters worse, Yvonne was returning a wheelchair to prevent it being stolen.
So if I actually didn't take the wheelchair back and I just left it in emergency, I probably wouldn't have been booked.
And the ticket inspector slapped Yvonne with the fine while her sick mother sat in the front seat. Yvonne's appeal to the council's compassionate side fell on deaf ears.
I knew not to park there long, put it that way, but I couldn't make the process go any quicker to getting an elderly woman out of the hospital.
It's very important to give them some evidence. Anyone can almost make any claim. But if you've got some evidence, obviously give some weight to anything you're saying.
Sometimes not even evidence is enough.
I parked my car in an underground car park and got my ticket and placed it on the dash of my car. Went into my appointment and came back 45 minutes later and I was issued a parking ticket.
John Bryant's car parking story beggars belief.
Where do I stand with this? Because I've got a valid ticket, but they've also issued me a parking ticket as well for $88.
Fair Trading fought the case for John and won.
Fair Trading said, don't pay it. They said just ignore anything that comes through from them.
It hasn't stopped the car park's owners calling in debt collectors.
I'm happy to go to court over this matter because I know that I'm in the right.
But our experts say make sure your case stacks up. If you take the matter to court and lose, it will cost you more than the original fine.
The fines might be increased, probably not dramatically, but if you were to lose, they would be increased, and you'd also incur court costs.
The latest figures show that thousands of Australians who've taken on the councils know it's worth contesting a ticket if you feel you're right.
Stand up and fight. If you believe you're right, and if you believe the ticket is incorrect, absolutely stand up, present the facts, and get it withdrawn.
Let's have a bit of compassion these days and a bit of respect.